Democrats and the media are now unloading all their nasty attacks on rising Trump White House star and new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
Talk about drama.
It's like you could say why she was put in there like before you see her work, but when you see her work the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Donald Trump in office, you can see why she picked up. She's strong, she's aggressive, and she stand on business. She seems like she's a good mouthpiece for Donald Trump.
I can see that.
The daytime television world just got rocked by one of its most shocking controversies yet, and this one's a real scorcher. Joy Behar, the veteran co-host of The View, has officially exited the show after a whirlwind of backlash, lawsuits, and social media chaos.
Time to go.
But what could possibly force out one of the most outspoken and long-standing faces of daytime television? Well, buckle up, because this story is packed with controversy, irony, and plenty of finger-pointing. Let's dive into the jaw-dropping details of what went down and why Joy Behar's exit has set the gossip world ablaze.
Speaking of Donald Trump, I was stunned and amazed by his new White House spokeswoman today. She's actually the youngest ever in that job.
So here's where it all started. During a recent...
I would never figure that she was the youngest. The way she carry herself, she don't carry like she was the youngest. And I know when President Trump first term, he had somebody different. I thought he was to bring her back, but he brought somebody else back. And to me, she's more aggressive and strong-willed than the
well, sometimes what you need a new vibrant change.
Yeah.
And a different outlook, and a different drive, and it gets things done.
And that's exactly what he got with her.
An episode of The View, which is no stranger to heated debates and fiery exchanges, Joy Behar made a comment that left jaws on the floor. While discussing Karoline Leavitt, the newly appointed White House press secretary under Donald Trump's administration, Behar suggested that Leavitt only landed her position because of her looks. Yep, you heard that right.
Karoline Leavitt, she's just 27 years old. But boy, was she giving it to the Trump haters in her first White House briefing.
Ouch, that's not just a low blow.
That's what I said. She was really giving it up. You know what I'm saying? She's like a female version of Trump. Say what she wants and say how she feels with no bars.
No regard.
Yeah.
It's a full-on dive into the deep end of controversy. Now, keep in mind that Leavitt, at 27, is the youngest person ever to hold the role of White House press secretary.
Damn.
Despite her age, she has a stacked resume that includes being a former communications director for high-profile Republican campaigns and even working in Trump's first administration. But instead of focusing on her credentials, Behar reduced her to nothing more than her appearance. Now, this comment didn't just ruffle a few feathers. It unleashed a fire.
Well, we know one thing for sure. She didn't get her job. Nothing to do with her appearance.
At all.
The backlash was instant. Audience members audibly gasped, and even some of Behar's fellow co-hosts looked visibly uncomfortable. Alyssa Farah Griffin, herself a former Trump administration staffer, was quick to clap back, pointing out it wasn't her first job, it was just her first press briefing. And if you thought the live reaction was tense, just wait until you hear what happened online. Social media exploded with criticism from all sides of the political spectrum. Fans and critics alike were calling out the hypocrisy of the statement, especially given Behar's long history of championing feminism and women's empowerment.
Facts. I was thinking the same thing. She took the words right out of my mouth. They offer females up there at the views for her to say that. It was kind of crazy to hear another female try to down another female because it's better for them to try to stick together. There's enough people trying to put them down, but I'm pretty sure she didn't think it was going to go that way. When she made that stomach statement, I'm pretty sure she thought she was getting a chuckle, a laugh, because most of the people that watch that show,
not an avalanche.
Yeah. Most people that watch the show, they're not Trump supporters. Because if you was, you really couldn't just sit there and just watch the show every day.
One user wrote, if a Republican said anything remotely like that, they would be crucified. Another chimed in, Joy Behar just proved once again that The View only supports women who think like them.
Because she said something.
That's what I said. Like, this show is only like, it's only geared towards one way. Yeah, it's only geared towards one way.
Yeah.
I watched a couple episodes since we've been started reacting to more politics videos, and I just noticed, like, I never watched the show before, so I didn't know like how they was, but just seeing it, I just see, they only on one side. They just stand on one side and they
very strongly opinionated.
Facts.
And they believe in what they stand.
You think so?
I think they do, because it's interesting that you get that little bit of oil and water effect amongst the cast.
Yeah.
But everybody stand firmly on whatever their perspective is.
They seem to me like they stand firmly on their biasness, and just my biasness is this, and I'm just gonna stand on that hill.
Yeah, and they don't look to be
unbiased.
Talked out of their belief.
Yeah.
Something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you.
And it didn't.
There's nothing to explain. People did not want the Democrats in the White House because of what they call the wokeness. When we use the word woke, we use it for a different meaning. They use the word woke for the transgender, that type of stuff is what they call woke.
They're tainting the word woke.
Yeah. So I understand why she's saying, yo, there will be no wokeness on this side because the American people spoke and we said, we don't want your definition of wokeness.
She said there will be no wokeness
at all.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you.
And it didn't stop there. Karoline Leavitt herself decided she wasn't going to let this slide. Instead of issuing a single statement, Leavitt went for the jugular and filed a lawsuit against Behar, accusing her of defamation and character assassination. According to the legal complaint, Behar's comments were not only false, but also malicious, designed to discredit Leavitt in the public eye. This lawsuit wasn't just a bombshell, it was a direct hit to both Behar and ABC, the network behind The View.
It makes sense. You're saying I didn't earn this job. Only reason I got the job because of my looks. So you're actually defaming my character. You're lowering my value, whether you meant to or not. That's exactly what you're doing. Because if I try to get another job somewhere else, they're gonna be like, oh, she really don't have the skills. She's not really qualified. She's already getting jobs off her looks. And that's like a lot of stuff you be hearing about Kamala Harris. Like she only got in that position because of looks. That's not what you want people to be saying about you. No. You want people to think you got there in the merit.
Because you earned it.
Your work effort. You earned
your hard work.
Yeah.
The time you put in. The sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Trying to get your points across to make the whole place better for everybody.
Facts.
Without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table.
Behind the scenes, chaos was reportedly unfolding at ABC. Executive.
Before she got that job, the lady that was with Biden, the black lady, I don't know her name, but she was a lady. She held that job. And I said before that was Trump, and he had a lady before that. So the last two terms was the Speaker of the House or the position they fill was females. So how are you going to say without this wokeness, you wouldn't have that job when there was already two females before her that had the job?
Were scrambling to figure out how to handle the situation. Should they issue a public apology, suspend Behar, or the nuclear option, cut ties with her altogether? Staff members at The View were apparently divided, with some rushing to Behar's defense and others quietly acknowledging that the situation had spiraled out of control. It's worth noting that Behar has been at the center of controversies before, but this time the stakes were much higher. The lawsuit, coupled with the immense public backlash, put ABC in a very tight spot.
As it should have.
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
Adding fuel to the fire, reports began circulating that ABC executives had been holding behind-the-scenes emergency meetings for days leading up to Behar's departure. Sources from within the network claimed that executives were in panic mode, with some fearing that the lawsuit could snowball into an even larger reputational crisis for the network. While ABC has faced criticism in the past for The View's often polarizing content, this particular scandal was seen as uniquely damaging due to its legal implications. One insider described the atmosphere at the network as tense and chaotic, with executives walking on eggshells trying to balance internal loyalty to Behar and the growing external pressure to act.
No, it's not. So first of all, and I have had my objections to the job that Karine Jean-Pierre did, but she worked in politics for 21 years, 5 presidential campaigns, and worked in 2 administrations.
The tension wasn't just at the executive level. Staffers at The View were reportedly split into 2 camps. Some were fiercely loyal to Behar, arguing that her comment, while inappropriate, didn't warrant such severe backlash. Others believed her remark about Leavitt crossed a line and was indefensible, especially for someone who claims to support women's achievements. One anonymous...
You cannot claim to support women and then make a statement like that.
It's detrimental.
It's detrimental to the person you're talking about, and it's detrimental to females as a whole. Like the only way we could get a job is we gonna have to look a certain way. So you're telling females that don't look a certain way that you don't have a chance.
You don't have hope,
and it's not true.
It's not gonna happen for you.
Yeah.
A staffer allegedly told an outlet, "This isn't the first time Joy has put us in hot water, but this time it feels like there's no way to recover." The divide among staff members reportedly created a toxic work environment, with whispers about whether other co-hosts might also face fallout from the scandal. Adding to the complexity of the situation was the question of ABC's liability in the lawsuit. Legal experts weighed in across news outlets, debating whether Behar's remarks could be classified as defamation. Some argued that Leavitt's lawsuit had a solid foundation, especially given the specific and personal nature of Behar's comments. Others, however, suggested that Leavitt might struggle to prove malice, a key component in defamation cases involving public figures. Regardless, the legal battle ahead promises to be messy, with ABC potentially caught in the crossfire. One expert noted, even if the network tries to distance itself from Behar, the fact that they allowed the comment to air could make them partially responsible in the eyes of a jury.
They are responsible. You're the one that's paying the lady. You're the one that's sponsoring the lady. This is your channel.
You're supporting this. You're airing this. Yeah. You didn't edit this.
You might be more responsible than the person that said it at the end of the day, because you financed the whole thing.
Yes, and you have the power to be like, cut.
Yeah, and you didn't.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Karoline Leavitt is the press secretary at the White House, doing a great job.
Facts.
Such a great job that the ladies of The View feel the green monster coming upon them.
Meanwhile, Leavitt hasn't shied away from the public spotlight following the controversy. In an exclusive interview with a conservative media outlet, she doubled down on her criticism of Behar, calling the comment not only sexist, but deeply unprofessional. Yeah, Leavitt also used the opportunity to highlight her qualifications, listing her resume and accomplishments as proof that her appointment as press secretary was earned, not handed to her because of her appearance.
Right.
This has only further energized her supporters, with many praising her poise and her decision to stand up for herself in the face of what they deemed a baseless attack. And then came the announcement that no one saw coming. ABC officially confirmed that Joy Behar was leaving The View. The timing of the announcement, just days after Leavitt filed her lawsuit, led many to speculate that this wasn't a voluntary departure. While the network's statement was vague, saying that Behar had decided to step away and wishing her the best, insiders claim that ABC executives effectively pushed her out to protect the show's future. Let's face it, The View has weathered...
I mean, the timing is fishy. After the comments,
timeline is fishy.
You make them comments, and then you're gonna say that we mutually just going our separate ways after the comments. I think they just have.
Yeah, you've been around here for all this time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what other way to look at it, because you just disappearing all of a sudden and being like, yeah, well, you know, we're just going our separate ways. Like, nah.
And people know that Trump just won a big lawsuit against a TV company. He's suing another one for $10 billion. So they're like, yo, we don't want to get caught up in all this right now. The only way you can get people to change their ways is to hit their bottom line, to hit them in their pockets.
Yeah, hit them in their pockets.
And they're definitely going after their pockets. And I like the fact that they're doing that, because like I said, over the last couple of days that we've been doing The View, they just spewing out stuff, it seemed like, over there on The View. So this is the only way you can get them to temper it down. Even if it don't go all the way through, now the executive's like, yo, y'all can't just be spewing out this stuff over there. You can't do that. You're gonna put a leash on it.
Yeah, you're gonna reel it in real quick.
Yeah.
Storms before, but this particular scandal might have been too much to handle. Public reaction to Behar's exit has been a mixed bag, to say the least. Some people are celebrating her departure, saying it's about time she faced consequences for her controversial remarks. One fan commented, maybe they need to cancel ABC Network. That would fix all of the problems. Yeah. Another wrote, I can't understand why that particular show is still on the air, or was ever aired to start with, for that matter. On the other hand, some longtime viewers of The View are mourning the loss of one of the show's most outspoken voices. They argue that Behar's departure is a result of political pressure and that ABC caved to outside influences. Conservative commentators, meanwhile, are treating this as a major victory, viewing it as a rare instance of accountability in what they perceive as a biased media environment.
Yeah, a lot of people is counting that as a win, because a lot of people at this point just want to see that show off the air, because it's just biased. It's like nowadays in news, we want unbiased news. We don't want just biased news, and you can listen to it 5 minutes and be like, oh, this is a biased show.
They're biased opinions, and people just want the truth.
Yeah. Sometimes lean on this way. Yeah, sometimes lean on this side, sometimes lean on this side, but you're not gonna tell me that everything Trump does is just wrong.
Yeah.
You really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
And let's not forget the irony of it all. Joy Behar has spent years positioning herself as a champion of women's rights and empowerment.
Yeah,
she has often criticized others for making dismissive comments about women, yet in a single moment, she managed to undermine everything she claimed to stand for. This hypocrisy hasn't gone unnoticed, with many pointing out that her remark about Leavitt was the very thing she spent her career railing against. So what does this mean for The View? For starters, the show now finds itself at a crossroads. Joy Behar was one of its defining voices, and her absence leaves a significant void. ABC will have to carefully consider who, if anyone, will replace her. Will they opt for another outspoken liberal voice, or will they try to balance the panel with a more conservative perspective? Either way, it's clear that the show...
I think that it need to be balanced. It need to be balanced. Everybody there seem like they on the same accord and think the same way. I think it'll be a better show if you had some people that thought differently than they thought, looked at the glass half full or half empty, how they look at everything, and I think it will bring a nice balance to the show.
I think in thought it would be a good balance. But
Yeah.
I just think in seeing and watched it in this show over time,
it's not gonna happen.
It wouldn't go over like that.
Oil
I
and
feel
water.
like it would be an attack.
Oil and water.
I feel like half of that panel will be attacking someone.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more like what would be more realistic.
Yeah. Somebody would be flipping the table.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And they're right. It's gonna be a big void to fill.
Yeah.
Because
she's known for that show. When you think about that show, you think about her face.
Yeah, that's the face that pops up.
Yeah.
Like real talk. When I think about that show, her face and Whoopi.
Yeah. For sure. Definitely them two faces. Crazy video. Can't wait to see what happens from this. Before we get out the video, if you didn't like, subscribe, or leave a comment, make sure you do that. We're a brand new channel. We definitely appreciate your support. Until our next video, it's Tremaine Jones.
And it's Lamar Wilson.
And we out.